Good day from tropical Queensland in Australia. I'm Frank and I'm introducing you today my 77 Volkswagen Campervan. This is a Australian made Sunliner conversion made in Melbourne, and it's got the full setup, camper setup inside, including the kitchen sink. I'll show you inside a little bit later. So it's a 2-liter 60 horsepower Kombi, and I walk around and show you the main features. So it's got the 220 or 240 volt inlet per plug base, and then that's where put the petrol in, of course. And this is the water, just tap water outlet. I've got a about 40-liter water tank underneath, and of course it's just for washing hands and do dishwashing. Now this door, a fiberglass door, I've got the gas bottle behind that, a 9 kilogram gas bottle. These are some ventilation, of course, for the when you're cooking. And then I've got this I can't remember what's the name of this window, but you can open it up and it gives you a lovely breeze, especially when you cook. It's got this pop-up roof, which is very handy because you can stand up inside. So yeah, this window is louver windows, just got it. And that roof made out of fiberglass, which is very sturdy and good looking. So I choose to put some sunrise here like rims, so they really go well together, the white on white, or the white on blue, I should say. So I've got new windscreen in. When I bought the Campervan 8 years ago, I needed it for the roadworthy certificate and a few more things. Now I've got a Bullbar here, which in my opinion serves two purposes. One of them is carries the spare tire, so it's really handy. It doesn't take up any room inside the camper, which is very important. And then the other purpose is a bit of a protection for a unlikely head-on collision. I hope it'll never happen. Then I've got some driving lights. You might say it's fog lights in Europe, but we call it driving lights. So use it on the highways, freeways. So yeah, and then yeah, the Sunliner logo, it was faded. I think it was a sticker only, so it came off. And because I'm a signwriter, graphic designer, I repainted it. So I got my old brushes out and a bit of a black enamel, gloss enamel paint, and it turned out very good. That's the official Sunliner logo. So I'm very proud of it. Now the van was resprayed one stage, so that's how I bought it. But the original color is sea blue, which you can see inside here. That's a lovely color, and one day I might go back and get it resprayed that color. I like that sea blue color. That's typical 70s color. I don't know the color code, but I'll find out. So, but the main thing in this vehicle is the inside of it. I'll show you the cabin first, the front cabin, and then we go back to the rear. So this van has no option at all. So I can't tell you much about the optional extras. In fact, comes with a blank gauge there. I don't know what that is, but you can probably fit the clock or something like that. But it's got the speedo, the odo, which shows 48,542. I'm sure the clock went around about twice, so it's basically 248,000. Now over here we've got the charger, tells you the alternator works or not, and the other one is the oil pressure. So these have to go out when you start up the engine. And then I've got the indicator, of course. Both way. I started up the stupid windscreen wiper accidentally, but that works as well, so you can see. And yeah, got the headlight switch, windscreen washer, and then the hazard and the driving light, cigarette lighter, ashtray, good old 70s feature. I've got a aftermarket radio and cassette player, still works, so that's a good thing to have. I've got a lot of cassettes, tapes. Now this is the handbrakes, or emergency brakes, you might call it. I don't want to release it because I'm in a bit of a steep hill and I don't want to roll away, so that's handy. And then I've got the glove box department. I basically just leave some junk in there, and also the instruction manual, which I've got, and it's very handy, original to the car, so I'm really happy about that. Well, it tells you a few things, how to maintain and repair smaller things, like the grease nipples at the front, then how to change globes, how to change the punctured wheel, but probably everyone knows that. Yeah, so and the how to do the oil change. So you don't really get this information in today's cars, and just they suggest and advise you what to do in different situations. Now, service book. I never had the service book. It got lost somewhere in the past. But since I've got the Campervan, I've got a bit of a logbook. I'm keeping a logbook from day one, and it's all the services and repairs and stuff written in there. So yeah, that's for my peace of mind. Okay, so that's that. And of course I've got Elvis. Elvis makes me really happy every day when I drive the Kombi or the Campervan or the bus, whatever you call it. I've got the 70s sunglasses, so I've got everything set up for a bit of a journey down memory lane. Now the main thing is the inside of the campervan, the rear section. So got access from the rear here as well, but mainly I use the sliding door. That's the easiest one. But while I'm here, I'll show you, this is a cupboard for clothes or what have you. And that's next one as well. So let's go to the front and have a look the camper setup in detail. Okay, so I've got easy access here by the sliding door, and start with the closest things. I've got small little compartments to keep different things. The Australian flag, which was handy the other day, and the first aid kit, just a small one, and another secret department here, keeping nothing there. And under the seat I've got touring atlas of Australia, and another one just to make sure I can't get lost, spare tile and spare bits and pieces in there. So that's just the nearest one. And of course I've got some room down here below the bed. The bed can be converted back to seats. 2 or 3 people can sit and travel. And now come the more interesting stuff. I do have a gas 2-burner stove, and that's very handy on gas, really good. And it has a grill underneath, and the middle, the center knob controls that one. So if you want to cook some meat or sausages or what have you, grilled, toasted sandwiches, whatever, so that's really good. And underneath I've got the 3-way fridge, which is very handy. Runs on 12 volts, 220 or 240, and then gas. So I've got options. If I park up or if I'm on the road, I've got options. And these are the other switches to set the minimum or maximum I want to run it on. It has a freezer, a very small freezer, but it's good to have. And then space for bottles in the door. So that's really good, especially summertime. I've got a extra cooler as well, so that's important. And then, as I said, it comes with the kitchen sink, a pump action tap, which is a bit slow, but you know, you got water. And another small department here, got a kitchen towel in there. Good, I forgot that. Bit of a mirror. Hello. So yeah, and the cupboards for the clothes. I've got an old denim jacket there. I forgot about that one. I might use it next season. Okay, so on the roof I've got this skylight type of opening with the mosquito net, so it's good, very handy. I can keep it open all the time while I'm driving as well, unless it's raining, of course. And then the main thing, I can open up the pop top, which is gives me the extra height I need. I need an extra height because I'm 1.9 meters tall. So I just unhook these latches. I've got 4 corners. So you can see, just pull it down and it's off. So and the next thing is grab these 2 handles and push the roof slowly upwards, and it's open, and I can stand up straight with a bit of a spare headroom as well. So and I've got these zip down shades with the mosquito net, all 4 of them. And in the front I've got this huge opening which I can also zip up if I want to close it, but because I gain an easy access to this roof rack sort of thing, so when I travel I can carry anything up here, luggages, extra petrol, couple of cans of petrol, even spare tire if I need a second spare tire. So this is really handy when you carry a lot of stuff with you. You don't need to keep them inside the camper van. You can just carry them on the outside. And then of course this bed can be converted back to a seat format, which I show you in a second. So here it goes. Just have to lift this up and that, and I can sit down comfortable here like that. And I tell you, because no one wants to talk about figures, numbers, prices in their videos, so I tell you in my other videos, because I've got quite a few cars and I'm gonna show you one by one every one of them. I'll try to. So I'll tell you, I bought this van, camper van, in 2012, 8 years ago, in Melbourne. And I drove past this van. It was parked in the front yard of a house. Drove past this place many times in a week. And one day I knocked on the door and I spoke to the lady of the house. Husband wasn't home, and I told her I liked the camper van outside, might thinking of sell it. And she said, yeah, she'll speak to her husband and we'll see. Anyway, I got the phone number of her, and I rang them back a couple of times, and they said they thinking this and that. And one day I went to visit again, and the lady said, okay, $10,000. I said, all right, I'll think about it, because that was a little bit steep, and I felt that the lady wants to force her husband to sell it, and sell it on a good price. So and a couple of days later I went back and I spoke to the husband this time, and he was more level-headed, and he said there is some problem with the engine. The right side carburetor is leaking, this and that, need reconditioning. And I said, look, let's have a closer look, and we'll talk. Anyway, did that, and without test driving, I offered him 5,000. And he said, nah, he doesn't want to sell it with the leaking carburetors and this and that. Let's think about it and he'll see. Anyway, probably 2-3 weeks gone by, and he rang me, and he said he got the carburetors fixed, and if I want to come and test drive it. So I did, but I didn't offer him more. I said to him still 5 grand, and he said nah, it's too low and sentimental, because they went to their honeymoon in this campervan up to Byron Bay, which is a lovely area, and just 90 k's from here, but that was about 1700 k's from Melbourne at the time. And so we went back and forth. He wanted more, but he came down to 5.5, which was already a good price, and we agreed on $5,250, and that was included the repair he got done on the engine, which he believes, and I think I've got a receipt somewhere, cost him $1,000. So if you work this out, I've got it for just over $4,000 with repaired engine. Anyway, I kept that engine for a couple of years or 3 years, and when I started to drive the van longer distances, I didn't trust the engine, because I was always thinking about the few things he mentioned, and I was lucky enough to find a very good engine on eBay for $950, which was unheard of. It was about 2015, maybe 14, I can't remember exactly. I've got it written in the logbook. And I've got my mechanic to, I have another Kombi van down in Melbourne, where I was living at the time, and I got my mechanic friend, to swap the 2 engines. I mean 3 ways, because I put the new engine into this one, and the original engine from this one, which I still got in my other bus. And I've got a in that white bus I had a completely blown up engine, so that was undrivable. So I sold that engine on eBay for some $200. Complete engine, mind you, and even if it was blown, it was still a good buy to someone who can recondition it, and worth a lot of money. So the main thing is, since I bought this engine, I haven't seen one on eBay in running good, reliable condition. So I was very lucky, and touch wood, it still runs okay. So in that note, what's left is probably to start up this engine and show you how it runs. And I've always serviced it in time, on time, and the mileage wasn't a big deal, because I've never drive more than the 3,000, 4,000 k's between 2 services. So here it is. Let's hear it. Okay, so the oil pressure light's off, charging light off, Elvis dancing, shaking crazy. So let's have a look at the engine then. So that's how the pop top opens up and stays open. It's really handy summertime, and if I park up, this is it. The 2-liter 60 horsepower twin carburetor Solex carburetor engine, and it's got the dual battery setup, which is also very good, because when the alternator charges up the main battery, then switches over to the oops, still cold. Switches over to the spare battery, which runs the inside of the campervan, so the fridge, the lights, and what have you. Yeah, so the engine's still cold. So otherwise it's a good running engine. Probably idles a little bit low, but it'll pick up when the engine's warm. Yeah, so it's a really handy setup, and I've got no oil leak to speak of, which is also rare with a air-cooled Volkswagen engine. And yeah, so I'm quite happy with it, and hopefully stays that way. So if you like my van, if you like the video, please give me the thumbs up, and maybe press the subscribe red button as well, so you can find my other videos easier and quicker. Thank you for watching. Hopefully see you again.